Also the local curling clubs and all of their members who have jumped on board big time to help with this event, providing countless hours of everything, including food service, drivers to drive everybody around. They've got people to clean. They've got people to do everything you can imagine. The ice makers here, and the ice maker is Tony Sterling, who's doing a remarkable job being co-chair of the event and the ice maker of both curling clubs. And he has a crew of volunteers helping him as well. You know, you have people working, you have other commentators working the booths, covering games. That's always a lot of work as well for everybody, and everybody loves doing it, but still. So tons of work just by individuals, and there's been a lot of effort made to bring the community into this event. And we'll let you know the list of sponsors here in a little while. But for now, we get the out-turn draw here. This is an interesting call. I'm not quite sure if he thinks it's going to curl that much to move that one out, and it might. Or if he's just basically trying to draw it down to it. I would think without hammer, you'd actually want to remove this stone, but that's not going to happen. But if it goes a little bit further, it's a great shot. I'll tell you what, it's probably about 3 inches from being just perfect. But instead, I think so far the territory is still sitting 1, and now drawing to sit 2. Play the out-turn draw around the red high guard. The reason for going this way versus the other way would be that if you come around the red one on the inside and you only half bury it, you set up maybe a roll for Aube and his New Brunswick squad that would put you in trouble. This way, if you half buried, it really doesn't hurt you. I probably would actually prefer to only be half buried on this one. So they've got it on the way. Got to watch it close. Make sure you don't lose this. We've had a couple rocks that got away from the sweeper so far. You don't want that to happen. It's just quite often the difference between winning and losing. More often than not. You sneak this one by at least 4 or 5 millimeters, I think. It was really close to that guard. Good call. Well swept. Nice throw. And pretty good spot. New Brunswick can get to it. As I mentioned, it curled so much that it actually is peeking out the other side, and New Brunswick could remove it and roll to your left behind the guard. But tough shot. Can't see a whole lot of it. Really nice slide there. I really like the look of that delivery from the New Brunswick guard. It's getting a little tight to the guard, though. Will he get it by? He's really close. Not quite. Might get something else out of it. No. Too bad. It was a good throw. The guard's gone now, at least. Territories will have to put it back or throw a third one in the rings, and they chose to put the third one in the rings. I think this is a good call. Might as well set up a possible 3. You don't get many chances for 3. So this is a pretty good opportunity. This looks pretty good. Maybe overswept a little bit. Ah, that works fine. Good shot, no double really. Nothing, no easy double anyway. Not too much opportunity to hit and roll. You can, but you got to roll 4 feet, and that's quite a piece. So New Brunswick third, Paul Leroux. Being asked to remove it. As I said last shot, Paul sliding really nice. I really like the look of his delivery. Smooth and even and all that kind of stuff. Must be close. Aube not really calling the sweeping on early. I think it's going to be close to the nose. It's tough to call that sweeping on when it's still out there that far, but really if you're going to make that roll, you're going to have to get a little more aggressive on the call, get at it early, and then let it curl up at the end. But it's tough to do. Territory's now looking to hit and sit 3 again. Territory his third Jack MacKinnon. This one's a little tight. You got to be careful about the jam here. This is going to be really close. They hold it. And he gets away with it. Good shot. Actually gets away with it great. Spectacular shot. Just exactly what you needed. And New Brunswick in some trouble here in the second end. Our seeding pool round here at the Canadian Masters. Thrilled to be bringing you the broadcast. We've got still quite a bit of curling to come this weekend. We are covering on this sheet. Actually, we have the Nova Scotia women's team tonight playing New Brunswick. We're just full of these New Brunswick teams today, and it's those two teams are both 5-2, along with two other teams. The women's pool is really tightened up. There's 4 teams tied for the lead at 5-2 right now, and 2 teams, I believe, at 4-3, maybe right behind them. So it's tight. Men's pool tight as well. 5 teams tied at 6-2 for the lead. 2 teams at 5-3, including our own Steve Ogden's Nova Scotia team. But tonight we have New Brunswick and Nova Scotia right here on sheet 3 at the Wolfville Curling Club. Should be a great game. It's Margie Cutcliffe's squad can probably punch a ticket to the playoffs by winning that game. Actually, all 4 teams that are 5-2 play each other tonight here at the Wolfville Curling Club. So it should be a great night of curling. If you want to come down and see some terrific women's curling, this is the place to be on a Friday night. Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Rod Aube has this on the way. Looks like a good throw, and the speed looks pretty nice so far. It's going to have to maybe slow down a little bit. Looks pretty darn good. Needs to curl a little tiny bit. Wow, I'll tell you what, that's one great curling shot. If you're Paul Delorey, you're not real excited to see that shot by Rod Aube. That was a terrific shot. He might be able to blast it out of there. He's not taking a lot of ice for a blast, but I think you're going to have to hit it pretty solid to move it to into the 12-foot, which would leave your other 2 blue counters over here. You could go at this with some weight and try to move it, really try to move it, and he might be. This curls so hard here that he may well be trying on throwing this one fairly hard. The other option is you can almost play the same shot that Rod did. Come right down to it, bump it back, move your blue one out of the way, even if you move it out, and set up a little short bump for a whole bunch. But then you need a miss from Rod Aube, and judging by that last shot, you might not get that. So Paul Delorey, skip of the Northwest Territories squad, out of the Yellowknife Curling Club, has it on sway. Sweeping to make it curl here. If he might be making it curl a little too much. No, got it by. And that's a good shot. 2 great shots. This one is close. I think they actually needed to switch sweepers there. If they could have, or just stopped sweeping, if that rock had curled maybe a half an inch less or 3/4 of an inch less, they would have definitely been shot. But they were kind of had the sweeper on that was going to make it curl. So if you believe in it, then they had the wrong guy sweeping. But still a heck of a shot. Rod Aube's got to make a good shot here. He's going to give Paul Delorey a chance at a whole bunch. Rod coming out. Nice slide out to the hog line. Release, nice clean release. Just before the hog line, which is good because you have to let it go before, but it looks a little hot. Got to curl. Has to curl. Not too bad for weight now. I thought it was a little heavier than that, but going to be in the ball game here. So, pretty good shot, but about 1 foot heavy. Can be a brutal game sometimes, this curling. So the Territories with a chance for 4 by making the double here. Certainly not an easy shot, but if you're going to win these games, these are the ones you got to make, and we'll see how Skip Delorey gets along with it. We know it curls. It's a tough call here to get the sweeping right to actually make the double. because you have to basically get pretty much to the nose. Just off the nose would do it. So tough shot for Northwest Territories, but a chance to break it open a little bit here in the second end. It's on its way. Another good delivery. We've seen a lot of good deliveries this week. These guys and girls this week are throwing the rock really well. This one's going hard. I don't know if they can get it by. It's close. By that one. But it's going to curl too far. Well, wait a second till they tell us who shot. Well, I think we can tell there. It's probably red. And sure enough, Team New Brunswick, out of nowhere, steals one in the second end to take a 2-0 lead over the Territories. And a big shake for skipper Aube on that one, because when he came up to throw, it was nasty. And he made one particularly great shot, and then a pretty good shot, and ends up stealing one. So good job by New Brunswick after a little bit of a rocky end, and they'll try to get it back on track here. And Team Northwest Territories, just do the same thing you did that end and set yourself up for another whack at a bunch of points. That was a tough shot for Delorey. That wasn't exactly a gimme double by any stretch of the imagination. So, you know, that was a tough shot. Certainly would have liked to at least score it, though. Second end would have been nice to score. So we'll take a little look across the board here and tell you that maybe nothing, something hanging between that. I think that, well, I'll come to this side instead. So on this sheet, the Yukon leads Northern Ontario just by 1-0 after one end, just playing the second end now. And I think it's 1-0 on the other sheet as well for the host team from Nova Scotia, Alan Marshall's team. Taking on Team PEI. Can't tell. There's a broom leaning on the board down there right underneath the one, and I'm not sure if there's a 1 under it or not. But anyway, it's close and it's not a very big lead by anybody. So Territories now throw up the corner guard again. Actually worked pretty good the last end. They got a couple of rocks behind the corner on one side and a rock behind the corner on the other side. So worked out very well. Just we're a little bit just unable to finish it off. This one slides in. Not the preferred spot, but anyway. So I want to tell you, we're talking about hosts here. The curling club here all week. They've been able to, both curling clubs have been able to enjoy some great food and some complimentary apples. And apples are, well, obviously Annapolis Valley is super known for apples. We have a Apple Blossom Festival coming up in a while, and it's a big deal, big parade, lots going on. The apple blossoms, all the white blossoms just look spectacular here in the valley. So there's acres and acres and hectares and whatever of apple trees down this way. So well known for apples, and apples this week were provided for everybody that came in. They could just have an apple wherever they wanted to, and everybody has been enjoying those apples at both clubs, and they were generously provided by Sterling Farm Markets and Noggins Corner Market. And I'd like to thank both markets for their support of the event, providing a whole lot of apples. Also, big thanks to Milne Court for their support of the event with gas sponsorship for the courtesy vehicles driving around, but maybe more important for the 6-inch or so cookies that were here at the curling club, and everybody had a chance to pick one up and enjoy. There's several varieties, and probably worth the trip just to have one of those cookies. And I was in there a little while ago just looking. I haven't been indulging in the cookies yet. I did put one away, though, and they have lots left. So if you're looking for a place to have maybe a coffee and a cookie, or pick up at Tim's and come on down for a cookie, you can provide you with one at probably minimal cost. I don't know how much they are, but they look, whatever they are, they're worth it. They look great. So New Brunswick here just trying to play a little bit of defense with a 2-0 lead. Hitting the rock in the house, which is a logical call right now. Be interesting to see what the Territories decide to do here. They may just ignore all this and come right around the guard. Or they might, yeah, play the freeze. Freeze is a good call, too. Freeze is always sort of, I look at that and I consider that sort of a soft, softly aggressive move, if you will. It's certainly not an aggressive curling call these days because people are so much better removing those. They can just throw it so hard and it just goes. But it does give you a little opportunity and doesn't put you into a situation where you have super hard shots. So I think if you have to score 2, this is not a good call. But right now, that's early in the game, and you know, just get a little comfortable, throw it in there, and make New Brunswick get rid of it. You never know, if they jam it, you have a great opportunity to score a couple anyway. And they will be going after it. Doesn't really matter much where it is. With a 2-0 lead, they're going to play this one. Guys just chatting a little bit about which way they want to go. Playing the out turn here. I think a lot of people would play the in turn, so maybe that was just what was in the mind of New Brunswick's second stone, Jake Healey. He might have thought it looked a little better to his eye to throw the in turn, but either way, the call's the out turn. He's thrown it, and it's on its way, and if it doesn't hit it, it'll be okay, and if he does hit it, he may jam it, but he might pick it right out. Slides it over. Just have a look here, see who shot. I think Red's probably still shot. Yeah, you can see it there, thanks to Scott Narbuth. He's just on the ball all the time, that guy. I don't know if he's a curler yet, but we should be able to make him into one. You think he's broadcast about 40 games of curling in 16 days or something like that. So anyway, Team Northwest Territories is playing, I don't know yet. Not quite sure. Okay, so he's going the same spot, really. Drawing down to the left-hand side of the sheet. Right-hand side as we look at it here on the screen. And he will try to maybe duck around that blue one. That would be a spectacular shot. Good shot. Just a really difficult call, but it looks close. Sweeper's working hard. They need to get it by there. And they did. Well, that's a great shot. Probably, you know what, it's always easy. Hindsight's always easy. Probably, in hindsight, they probably should have stopped maybe sweeping it about a foot higher. It would have created a little bit better chance of a jam here. It's almost impossible to jam this one now, but regardless, they're thinking T-line, and they got it to the T-line, and New Brunswick has to make a play on it. Third, Paul Leroux, try to remove the stone. Just maybe a little tight, but the sweeper should be able to hold this one. Getting pretty close to the other guard, but I think he's by. And he is, and even gets the roll. Wow, these guys are tough. Not sure why they're in this pool. So territory skip now. Paul Delorey looking at maybe a run back on the blue. Don't particularly like that call, but it would maybe get rid of a couple of rocks that really shouldn't be hurting you very much. I think it might be time to use that guard and slide one around there on one turn or the other. You might be able to hit this though and get 2 rocks in the house. You're not going to get rid of both reds because there's just no way the second one's going anywhere. But if you can hit this maybe just off nose on the inside, you might be able to sit number 2, number 3, which wouldn't be all bad. Jack MacKinnon with the in-turn hit. A little bit of a speed wobble coming out, but he got it back online and looks pretty good, actually. Oh, it's curling a little too much. Wow, did that ever go? So they obviously didn't expect to have that much curl. Did free up those red ones a little bit. So now if you want to play the takeout and you hit it on the nose, everything will go. Or a minute ago, it wouldn't have been the case. Aube thinking top 8 foot, top 12 foot. Team saying, well, let's go around the guard. Overrod's 100% convinced, but going to go with the Democratic route and play this shot. And the out turn. So Paul Leroux once again. Throwing an out-turn draw. Nice solid delivery. And out there, this is a side that going this way is not too bad. It doesn't have really that same straight spot. When you come this way, there's a little bit of a straight spot. This will curl really hard right now, though. They're probably not going to get it by. You got to really be all over that one early. And you can straighten it up. If you get on it early, you can manage to hold it out there pretty well, but not if you're late. But I think it does pretty much the same job anyway, so it's all good. 3 red ones in there. Guys are still discussing that last shot. Probably time to forget that one. So, Territory's asking their third, Jack MacKinnon, to play this double. A little better out of the hack for that one on Jack. Front end getting ready to sweep, or not. There they go. With this one, we know it curls. It curled hard the last shot. And they might have lost this one again. Nope. A little roll. Watch where it goes. Well, a little bad luck. Kind of rolled right to the opening here between the red stones, but still a good throw. Good throw by MacKinnon, and just a little tiny bit off on the sweep call. Team New Brunswick pretty happy, though. All of a sudden, they have an open hit instead of something a lot harder. Aube taking off the gripper, getting ready to come down to throw this one. Sort of a cool looking hat Rod's got on. I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks neat. I like it. So, out-turn takeout for skipper Aube of New Brunswick. Keep the weight firm on this. I don't think you want to throw this one too easy. It will move a little if you do. And they're on it quick, but I think he's fine. They did signal lots of weight. Can't tell if he's going to get by that guard or not. It's close. No, he won't. And the worst yet, he actually set up a better guard on the Territory's rock. So maybe a little tiny bit wide, maybe a little tiny bit heavy on that one, even though I said he had to be firm. He maybe went a little beyond firm. And you will, if you as I said before, if you do sweep them early, you will straighten them up. So you really have to be careful. And if you're going to sweep them early, you need to make sure you have to. Say Bell Alliance certainly pleased to be here and proud to be the official broadcaster for the 2016 Canadian Masters Curling Championship from the towns of Kentville and Wolfville, and the curling clubs, Wolfville Curling Club, Glooscap Curling Club here in Kings County, Nova Scotia. Bell Alliance, there's more to love with fiber op. Bell Alliance, we're everywhere this year. If you want to watch any community action at all in the sporting field, for sure, have a look at their website, check it out. You'll find lots to watch. Lots of live action and lots of stuff on demand as well. We have a little delay here as the sliding device didn't make its way down the sheet with Skip Delorey. There's Jack MacKinnon delivering an out-turn on the sliding device. It did lose its handle there at the end, but pretty good. Good catch. So good opportunity for the Territory squad. You can throw a little out-turn draw around this guard, go to the full 8-foot, half, 3/4 buried, and you have a pretty good opportunity to maybe get a 3. And all of a sudden find yourself in the lead here in this game, the seeding pool of the Canadian Masters. So Skip Delorey on the way. Out-turn draw. Again, they have to be careful here. This rock will curl, and they certainly don't want to make contact with the red New Brunswick stone. Going to be hard-pressed to get it by now. Sweeper's already packing it in. Will he get it by? Wow. Kind of interesting. I sort of thought they had a chance, but they didn't keep after it. But they might have did the right thing. It might have been a little heavy even if they got it by. So they did rub and pretty close to sitting too. Had a rolled, had a spun maybe a little bit more, and they might be too. We really aren't quite sure. Great cameras here at Bell Alliance. The guys from 45 North have set up for us, but it's at the same time there is an angle there that we don't have the luxury of seeing. So it's close. Might be a little tough to split it, but it's near. So Rod Aube with the exact same shot he just had. Actually, same idea. Even has a hole. So Rod will deliver the out turn here. Probably take a little tiny bit of weight off it. And I think he does. Nice firm weight, but not that real booming weight that maybe he threw on the last one. This one's curling up pretty good. Might stay, might not. It rolls out, but still shot. So, Territories squander a chance there to maybe score a 3-ender and definitely have a great chance at a 2-ender. And now they're going to play a little tap back on the red for maybe 1, maybe 2. I'm not really sure. I'm thinking if you're playing the tap back, it's probably for 2. If it wasn't, if they were already sitting, if they were only number 3, I think that you just play the straight draw. That would be easier, I think. That's what I would play. Good thing about this shot, as long as you're not heavy or wide, you should be able to end up scoring. If it actually overcurls a little bit, you get to rub off your own and roll in for 1. Little extra ice. Make sure. Say, Fred, nice delivery. I like watching him throw. He just, it looks a little bit like his intern. He kind of helps it a little bit over there. And as a result, his interns are really taking off. This one's over curling a long ways, but he might get lucky. There we go. Maybe luck's not. Maybe that was just plan B. Good plan. So he does score 1. Territories on the board here at the Canadian Masters with a score of 1 in the 3rd end. New Brunswick continues to lead, though, 2-1, playing the 4th with Hammer in a real tight battle in the seeding pool of the men's seeding pool at the 2016 Canadian Masters. Last game of the round robin for these guys. They're all done after this. There's no playoffs in the seeding pool. Good news is it's only Friday. They don't go home probably till Monday, so they get to hang out and enjoy lots more great food, lots more great hospitality, watch some good curling, and have a great weekend. I assume they're all here for the weekend. I can't imagine they wouldn't be. The banquet tomorrow night, it would seem like everybody would be around for that, wherever that is. So the Territories now will be looking to maybe steal 1, draw even at the break. That would be nice after being down a couple for sure. Speaking of drawing even, we look over to the sheet 4 in Northern Ontario after giving up a 1 and then a steal of 2. Did manage to pick up 3 against the Yukon and have tied that game up 3-3 after 3 ends. Our other game also tied 1-1 after 2 ends on sheet 2 in a game that's moving along not quite as quickly as our game. I don't know how many rocks left in this end, but they are still playing the 3rd end. That one slides in the house, unfortunately for the Territories, and allows New Brunswick to play the takeout. No problem. Actually, you'd like to hit that one on the nose. It'd be a great spot. Not everybody wants to do that, but I like to have it there. Jack MacKinnon just thought nobody saw him, thought he might give it a little kick to the right, but unfortunately we had that one on TV. We don't have the ability to replay, but we would have had phone calls, I'm sure. But he missed it when he went to kick it, so it's all good. They will try to remove it the legitimate way now with an out-turn takeout. Good slide. Even the teams here in the seeding pool, you know, most of these guys throw great curling stones. It's just unfortunate not everybody can make it through on the championship side. There's just a little bit of difference between these teams and the teams on the A side, and they still throw it pretty darn good. Good shot there. Would have liked to have rolled in the circle maybe, but still a good throw. Reminders, well, tonight's games are at 7:30 here at the Glooscap, or the, geez, I keep doing that, Wolfville Curling Club, and games as well tonight at the Glooscap Curling Club in Kentville. Nice and early, so if you have really great plans for a Friday night, you can come and watch some curling, enjoy a beverage of your choice, and then go out for a night on the town. I'm sure that's what all these guys are going to be doing, because they don't have to play anymore. That was a little short. Good spot, though. For New Brunswick, that's a great spot. Corner guard, tiny little bit tight, but sure rock, so what the heck, it's not so bad. Interesting. I haven't seen any stick curlers on the men's side. There's a couple stick curlers on the ladies' side. Yeah, we ended up with an extra rock for a minute there. Come over from sheet 2. Somebody forgot to catch it. For everybody at home that's playing the game, and if you're a sweeper, your job doesn't stop at the house. You need to catch rocks on your side of the sheet. See quite often that happens, and I know it's an accident. It happens. You're watching your game, and you're kind of intense, but you can actually end up with somebody getting hurt pretty good when that sort of thing happens. So please make sure you catch rocks that are sliding your way if you're a sweeper, and keep them out, keep them from going on the other sheet. So the Tories deciding they just got back in this. They don't want to end up dropping it too, so they're going to hit this corner guard. Defensive call, but a good one, I think. Nice roll in the rings. Great shot. That's perfect. Rod's signaling for it to get over there, but it's not going anywhere. So New Brunswick, I think, will just probably try to run this out. Scoring one here is not bad for New Brunswick. 3-1 lead after 4 ends wouldn't be so bad. They will try to blanket if it comes to that, but one's not the end of the world. Oh, a little early wolf from Aube in the house, and another wolf. I think the sweepers want to go because they realize it's not very heavy, but that's probably a good thing on this one. It's working his way over and should be fine, I think. And it is. Nice throw. If you're going to be wide, be light. That's always a good plan. And I don't know how much wide he was, but he was light, so he's probably a little wide. All worked out. When you curl as long as all of us guys have and these guys out here, sometimes you learn to adjust a little bit. We talked about that the last draw, where maybe you don't come out perfect every time, and you have to adjust a little bit on the fly. There was a day when we all came out much better than that, but some guys still have it. Some of us not so much. So this one on its way, another in-turn take. A lot more weight on this one. Got to go, I think. We're on it early using the one sweeper technique. Worked pretty good. Did it stay? No, he rolls out. No big deal here. We're pretty much an open house. I don't think New Brunswick will try real hard to go behind that blue one right now. Now they're going to maybe make a little bit of a try at it. Problem with this is if you're going to do it, do it. But if you decide you're going to go over there and you're just going to get, close, then the other team might make the hit and roll, and then all of a sudden you're kicking yourself. So it's an interesting call. I think I'm just going outside on this one myself and just running this end out. But Rod may prove me wrong here. Going out to help sweep a little bit. This one's a hair light. Boys working hard. Gonna get it in. That's a good shot. Scored 4-4 if you're keeping score. Just ends up in a place that I don't know that it can actually slide in behind the blue one, but if it did, it would be nasty for sure. In-turn hit on the way for Jack MacKinnon, I think. That's a good shot. Sweeper's going hard. Good job. Sheet 2, we see the host Nova Scotia team. Host team from Nova Scotia, Alan Marshall, picked up a big 4 in the third end, taking a 5-1 lead after 3 ends of play. So a big lead for Alan and his squad. This one on its way. Not a lot of handle on this, but again, a hit. He's probably going to be okay. It's going to curl a little bit, but it will. He'll hit it. Whether or not he stays. Almost stayed. That was almost a spectacular shot. Territories now. Guys are working hard to use this little corner. I like the idea of using a corner guard. I just don't like it very much right here because it's not really guarding much. And Paul says, no, we better go open side. I think this is a wiser decision at this point. I'm going to throw in a center guard, and I don't know that I like that one either. So sometimes you get an end. You've gone 3/4 of the way through the end. It's kind of hard to force the issue at this point. Throw this guard if New Brunswick decides to come around it. They've got one more shot than you do. You could easily find yourself giving up 2. You're not in a position of having to steal. And not only that, if you're going to do this, you might as well have done it the whole end. Got the rocks out there early when you needed them and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter anyway because it's going to be in the house. Well, there you go. And on top of the logo. Thinking that's probably the Masters logo. Canadian Masters looks like the hearts that they wear. Maybe I should have went and looked at that before. Paul Leroux. Really like the way Paul throws. The only thing I don't like is the handle. I think he needs to get a little more handle on some of these. Really got about a half a turn on that shot. Get away with that sometimes, not all the time. But it might work out perfect here. Wow, spun back in. Great shot. Great shot. Territories now, not much choice but to come down to that one. Bump it out, either one. It looks like a straight draw, but by that ice, that's going to have to curl a lot to get over there. Yeah, tighten it up a little bit now. Tendency on this shot usually is to throw it a little tiny bit heavy since you don't mind bumping it out. That was a great shot. Good call, as it turns out. Ideally for Delorey, he'd just sit right on the red one. And maybe find a way to force New Brunswick into just taking a single point here, because right now there's a possibility of a 2 spot. So it's on its way on the out turn. The guys might have to sweep this a little bit. A little deceiving from up here. It just looks like it's going hard, and it's really not quite going as hard as you think. Now a little bit of directional action going on, trying to get it over to that red rock. Will he get it there? I think so. I'll tell you what, another great shot. These two skips just in these last 2 ends have made the absolutely perfect freeze look like it's easy. It's not that easy. So a good shot. The territory squad. Rod's still in pretty good shape to maybe get us 2 here if he can put this one in the right spot and force Paul Delorey to make the same shot. He may well make it, but throwing 2 of those in a row is not easy. Quite as big a crowd this afternoon, but we expect a big crowd here tonight. Right, really in the supper hour. Guys and men and women have got to go home and make supper for the families, have supper themselves, and then find their way over here. So 4 o'clock draw is a little tough to catch. Not bad, though. So another good-looking shot, I think. This one's going to have to curl a little bit, too, but he's really close. Now they're on it hard. If he gets there, he should be good. He didn't freeze, but he pretty good shot. Like, he's got shot rock, and that's a great throw. Terrific throw. So it shows what I know about the corner guards that I thought wasn't even a corner guard. These guys have just made it work about 5 times in a row. It's only guarding about 7 inches of the 12-foot. So that's pretty good work. Jack turned around saying good shot. Everybody's just good shot after good shot here, these last 5 or 6 shots. Big shot here, though, for the territory skip. Paul Delorey, he doesn't really want to drop 2 here. So he's going to have to make a good one. He just bumped that red one a little tiny bit would be fine. They signaled just to freeze, and that's good. I just, you know, I think if a little bump's even better. Got to go on this one, though. He's really tight. I think he's tight. Maybe get a little plan B happening here. If he's got enough weight. I don't think he'll have enough weight for that. So after a really good shot on his first one, Paul throws a one he won't be so happy with on that second shot. So New Brunswick now, after a terrific shot by Aube on his first one, we'll have an open draw to the house for 2 and a 4-1 lead. You don't want to let this one go, though. You want to make sure you make this one. So we were just cleaning up the slide path a little bit. Rod's on his way. Out-turn draw. Shouldn't have too much trouble with this, guys. Pretty much everybody's had good draw weight here this week. And the ice has been so good that it's been pretty tough not to have good draw weight. Just throw the same shot over and over again, and most of these guys have curled long enough and play at a level that they can certainly do that. And sure enough, Rod's throwing this one right on the tee line. Not quite to the tee line, but full 8-foot. Great shot for Rod Aube. Skip of Team New Brunswick, and New Brunswick jumps out to a 4-1 lead after 4 ends of play here at the 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters. We'll take a short break and bring you up to date on the other games when we return. And we're back here after our fourth end break at the 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters. We're at the Wolfville Curling Club, taking in the game between New Brunswick and the Yukon, or the Northwest Territories, sorry. And so far, New Brunswick out to a 4-1 lead. Some great shots at last end led to a 2 for New Brunswick. And we're underway. Lots of time left. Lots of time for the Territories guys to jump back in this one. New Brunswick probably go in the house here and play a little more defense as they have a 3-point lead. They don't want to have a lot of rocks out front. I can tell you that the host team, Alan Marshall's team from the Glooscap Curling Club, stole 1 in the fourth end to jump up to a 6-1 lead in their game over PEI. Northern Ontario stole 1 in the fourth end to take a 3-2 or 4-3 lead over the team from the Yukon. One more draw today here at the Masters. 7:30 tonight. We have the women's championship round here in Wolfville. We'll be covering the game with our Nova Scotia squad, skipped by Mark Cutcliffe, the team from New Brunswick. Both teams 5-2. 4 teams tied for the lead in that section at 5-2. While the men will play at the Glooscap Club in Kentville, so you're welcome to come out and take in either game. Or if you're real good, find a way to take in both games. Bring a tablet, watch one, and watch the other one on a device of some sort. On Bell Alliance TV 1. This one over curling a little bit. So Territories with a good corner guard. That one probably is not a great result for New Brunswick. Really didn't want to end up with a guard out there. Just let you know as well that there's a lot of sponsors of this event. We're going to give you a few of them while we just wait for action to develop here in this end. We have the Diamond sponsor for this event. The Municipality of County of Kings. Gold sponsors the town of Westville, Wolfville, town of Kentville, and the village of New Minas. I live in New Glasgow, and Westville's close to me. That's why I said Westville. Silver sponsors Old Orchard Inn, Irving, and the Kentville and Wolfville Independent Grocers. And a whole list of bronze sponsors that we'll try to bring to you a little bit later. This is a good-looking shot here. Well, hit and flop, great shot. Territories lead Ben McDonald. So we said we'd give you a little rundown on these guys, so I'll do that now. I kind of missed the New Brunswick lead. We'll get to him. Ben has been to 4 Canadian Senior Curling Championships, and this is his 5th Canadian Masters, all in a row. Went to both most years. He went to the 2012, 13, 14, 15 Canadian Seniors, as well as the 2012, 13, 14, 15, and now 16 Canadian Masters. So certainly been busy. Brunswick second, Jake Healey. Looking to move the red one. But as long as he gets a piece of it, he's okay. He doesn't quite get a big enough piece and will slide probably out the back. Rattles around a little bit, stays at the back of the house, but a little bit of advantage Northwest Territories right now, and we'll see what they decide to do. As the Territories second, Garry Tkachuk. Gary's actually competed at the Canadian Mixed Curling Championships a couple times back in 94 and 96, as well as the Canadian Masters in 2012, 13, 14, 15, and 16. This guy's amazed me. I haven't been able to get to one of these, and they just keep rattling them off. This one's over curling. Really wanted to be on that red rock at the back. This one's not going to really do too much of anything for the Territory squad, unfortunately. Unless they maybe can get a biter. Not going to happen. So, surprise call for me here. The New Brunswick team is going to play an out-turn draw. I'm thinking you run the red one back. It's only about a 4 or 5 foot raise and opens it up if you don't make it. And 4-1 lead. I'm not sure that you really want to play around with this. But They had to have a 4-1 lead, so they're doing something right, so we'll see how they get along. Jake Healey delivering the stone for New Brunswick. Aube coming out to help with the broom. Nice line, just don't know if he's got quite the weight. And unfortunately, it ends up with a guard, and worse yet, a little bit of a stagger on the guards. Jake has been to, this is his 4th Canadian Masters, along with going to the Canadian Postal Spiel 9 times. So a veteran of some national competition. Second stone, Garry Tkachuk will look to do a little better on this one. He wasn't probably very happy with his last one. And they're going to have to sweep this one, I think, a little bit to keep it out there. Will stay straight, though. You do have to be careful. Probably need to get off it here pretty soon, let it move. Oh, nope. Got to keep going. I guess it doesn't have a ton of weight. Looks pretty good. Comes to that back one. It's a great shot. That's a terrific shot. So makes up a little bit for that first one. Probably would have liked to maybe leave it just a little bit above the tee line. These guys get a little excited on those, and it's hard to make yourself stop. But you don't always get burned, but every now and then you do. And this one's just deep enough that if New Brunswick makes a good shot here, all of a sudden your end's going to be pretty close to being over. So 3rd stone, Paul Leroux. Paul's been to 1 other Canadian Masters back in 2014. Now in his 2nd Masters competition. Some good sweepers on the front end here for New Brunswick. Particularly Bob Brannen. Brannen gets a lot of weight down on the broom. You can see this is a terrific shot. As I said, that's the downfall of throwing it behind the tee line. Brunswick now in pretty good shape. This is going to be very hard to remove this stone. Probably not possible to do it in one shot. Likely going to have to take a couple of shots. I think you got to make a little bit of a play on it for sure. Really just a draw. I don't know you want to be on that side. I think you need to be on the inside. But either way, same shot, and they'll just have to see what they can do with it on its way down the sheet. Third stone, Jack MacKinnon for the territory squad. Has this one on his way. Jack was in the Canadian Mixed back in '95, along with the Masters in 2012, 13, 14, 15, and this year I'm guessing that these guys have all played together every year for the last 5 years by the names of it. This looks like a terrific shot. If he gets a little more curl, that's a great shot as well. It's been a funny game, you know. We've had a little bit of ragged play at times, and then all of a sudden, both teams rattle off 2 or 3 or 4 great shots in a row. Like great shots, not just good shots, but great shots. They're having a hard time with some of the easy ones, but the hard ones, they're just making them perfect, so more power to them. Brunswick now trying to figure out what do we do, and 4-1 lead, it's going to be interesting. Let's see what he does. He might just throw guard. Tapping out here. I don't know who shot, but it doesn't much matter too much on this shot. You're not going to, no matter what you do here, you're not going to be shot when you're finished, so I think the guard's not a bad call. You're never going to get rid of that blue one, and not on this shot anyway. And it's not worth the risk. You just can't afford to drive that blue one back. I mean, you might be able to pick it out if you threw a high hard one, but that has the potential to be disastrous as well. So the draw coming in here, pretty far out. I don't know if they called the ice that far out or not, but they might have, looking to throw a little bit of a guard. This one's a little heavy. Probably found some nice fresh stuff out there, and the rocks slid pretty well. So we shall see. This would be an interesting call. I don't know you need to do this yet. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Need to see that. That's a good view there. Like I said, I'm not sure the Territories needs to play the shot just yet. They could actually follow the one down. They just played a little tap, move the red one a little bit. It's just kind of one of those what I would consider to be a bit of a desperation shot. But what the heck, if you make it, you're probably in great shape, and he might be close. Might be really close, no. The top one, yeah, it didn't hurt him. Might even have gave him an opportunity to get to his other blue one. And anyway, too much to talk about. We'll just sort of have to see what they do here. It's a bit of a mess down there, no matter how you cut it. It's just a matter of it's a good mess or a bad mess, depending on what team you're on. So where New Brunswick has to be careful not to get overly aggressive here and do something that they might regret later. But I think you could hit that red one on the right-hand side at the top, just biting the top of the forefoot. I think you could hit that and remove the blue one for sure, and maybe the back blue one. But I think I like the in-turn draw right through the hole better. Just draw right in, tap the blue one over to the right, and you're looking at the double. That's another option, I suppose. Anyway, lots of input down there. Guys are discussing the options. The double's definitely there as well. That would be a great shot, actually. That'd be a really good shot. That might be the best call, actually. Aube coming down. Rod's a pretty serious gum chewer. I like chewing gum myself when I play. Hopefully he got a fresh stick at the break. It's hard to make a stick of gum last a whole game. Used to find sometimes you get out and you curl and you get a little nervous and stuff like that, and mouth gets a little dry, and gum helps with that. You know, think about that a little bit. Happens to me here in the booth. So Aube in the hack. Pretty sure he's playing the double here. So the hack nicely, a little tight. Probably on the red one. I can't see how this can possibly get by the guard. Might get lucky. Let's see, everybody's in the way. And I don't know, we'll have to wait a second and see what happened. So, good news or bad news for New Brunswick? I'm not sure, I can't remember where everything was, but I would say, considering how he threw that one, he can't be too unhappy with that result, because that was not his best shot of this game by any means, but it curled enough to kind of drive that one back. Territories, though, can manage to kind of lob one into the hole there and sit two, and maybe even find a way to get three by the time they're done here. Got to make two awfully good shots, so there's not a lot of room. Looks a lot easier actually on the monitor than it does in real life here. It's been a fun end, though. Hope they play a couple of more of these before the day's over. Skip. Paul Delorey has it on the way. Looks pretty good if he gets through that hole. Got to get through, though. Got to get by. Wow, these guys have just kind of lost the sweeping call 2 or 3 times today. I don't know what's going on down there, but need to be able to pick those up a little sooner. You just can't afford to not make those shots that you should make. And really, there wasn't much to that one. He threw a great shot. Just nobody swept it. That's tough, a little frustrating, but so now we'll see what New Brunswick does. It's kind of like all the New Brunswick stones are on the right-hand side of the sheet, all the Territory stones on the left-hand side of the sheet. why you want to do that. Right now, it's going to be pretty hard for the territories to score more than one. And if you started this end out, you would have said if the territories score one, that's perfect. So be a little careful on this one. You don't want to make it easier for them to score more than one because they don't have a lot here. If you threw a guard on that center line, they really don't have very much. So I don't know exactly what he's playing. I think he's really just playing kind of an out-turn draw into the top of the 4-foot area. If it slides in a little further, that's fine as well. And that would be fine. I think it's going to curl probably a little bit too hard to make that. Well, indication a little heavy by the sweepers. And it will go a little straight in spots if you're a little bit heavy. This one's starting to move now, but I don't think they're not really doing any sweeping to help it. Slides it over, taps the blue one, doesn't do any damage, and nothing really much changed from before he threw it. That territory's a little tap for two, that's about all they've got. So a big shot, though. You need to make this one if you're Paul Delorey. You're down 4-1 after 4 ends of play. You're going to give up hammer here because you're going to score something, and you really need to make it a 2 because it's a pretty good situation. Looks difficult, but I don't know. It's Canadian Championships. You just got to be able to do these shots. So this is basically the same shot he threw the last time. Good news is there's no guard there for the guys to let it hit. But they need to make this. Sweepers have to be on the ball on this one. Everybody needs to be on board with this one. He needs to make this shot and get us 2. I don't see any way to get more than 2. Unless you can go through that hole and maybe wiggle that red one off the back one, but might be possible. That would be a spectacular shot. He's through the hole. Wow, that's unfortunate. I think actually they needed to come off that just a little tiny bit earlier. And unfortunately for them, they went from scoring 1 to giving up 1. And New Brunswick, once again, out of nowhere, steals 1 here in the 5th end. Take a 5-1 lead. I think that they just actually overswept that one a little bit. That comes up a little bit more. It might manage to wiggle its way around. We'll have to work on getting replays in here, Scott, sometime. For now, though, we know that New Brunswick is up again. And not sure that that one was one that they deserved to get, but they got it. So 5-1 lead for New Brunswick after 5 ends of play here. The last draw for the seeding pool. The 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters Curling Championships. Been a good game, though. Been a lot of fun to watch. A couple of opportunities missed for the Territory squad. A couple of great shots by the New Brunswick squad, setting up a deuce, particularly in the last end. So been a good game to watch. Remind everybody, too, to visit bellalliant.ca/TV1 for the webcast and TV schedules as well as on-demand content. If you want to get a hold of us on Twitter, we can give you that information as well. Just 1 second. Basically at Masters Curling, we'll do it for you. We'll pick that up. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, if we messed up anybody's names that you'd like us to fix, you're probably out of luck because by the time we get it, the game will be over and it won't matter anyway. We will just apologize now for having done so. So Fred Delorey a little disappointed down here, and I don't blame him. He had a good-looking shot there. Had a couple good-looking shots there, and ended up getting nothing out of either one. Unfortunate for sure. So a couple guards to work for territories to work with here in the 6th end. Good job that end of getting some rocks in play, and really had an opportunity if things had gone their way to maybe score multiple points, but it didn't happen, and you just got to keep plugging along. Really nowhere near out of this game. You really only need a 2 to be back in it. Get 2, steal 1, steal the extra end, you win the game. No problem at all. One doesn't help you a whole lot. 1 would make just the last 2 ends pretty difficult. 3 would be lovely. So we'll see what happens here. Lots of guards. As they say, New Brunswick going to leave those guards. Bit of a surprise to me. I thought they might get rid of some of this stuff. 5-1 lead. I don't know if you really want to put yourself through that same situation as the last end, but their game, so what the heck. Good for us, good for the viewers. Not so good for the New Brunswick fans in the stands here, I don't think, but they'll survive. This one on its way. Losing the handle a little bit, but it's going to work. So, good shot. Curls so much here, you can certainly get around there and bump that red one back to maybe the back of the 8-foot, which would be a good shot. Playing the freeze, it's not a bad shot either. This one on its way. Fred and Rod having a little bit of a laugh here with Paul and Rod. I call Paul Fred a couple times. I know somebody named Fred Delorey, and I just kind of go with that name. But he's not a curler, so I don't really know why I get it wrong. Nice shot. Nice shot by the territory squad. So Rod not going to fool around. He's going to play the guard. So no defense in the New Brunswick playbook here. It's all offense, and sounds good to me. This one's hanging out a little bit, but it'll be fine. It's going to come up. Maybe just a little bit heavy. Sometimes safety in numbers, though. You get enough of them in there, it's going to be pretty hard for territories to score very many. And not quite sure what the boys are going to do here. Maybe you can chip that blue one a little bit, roll behind the corner, leave yours sort of in the hole. This is a tough shot. I don't know that works out real well, but let's see. Second stone, Garry Tkachuk has got it on the way. Garry told me it's simple to say his name, just say it the way it's spelled. Well, I'll tell you what, might be easier than for some people. Not too tough for me. I have a hard time figuring it out. Plus, it was spelled wrong when I first got the sheet. Not a bad shot. I guess it's going to be pretty easy to remove, though. And I think the territories are in trouble. That probably pretty official at this point. I think that there's just a lot of red rocks around. This is a pretty easy removal of the blue stone here, and then there's going to be another red rock around, and it's going to be hard to get a couple of points. But you need to have a good imagination here. You got to figure out a plan and think up ways to make it happen. And Paul Delorey certainly lots of experience at Canadian Championships, so he may well be able to come up with that game plan yet. Brunswick looking just hit their own stone. It's about a 6-inch run back. Pretty near impossible to miss it. Sure enough, good shot. One good thing for the Territories, though, they can actually hit this, make a double, and roll behind the corner guard. And then you're only one more double away from maybe being able to score 2 or 3 points. I don't think you have any choice but to hit it. Usually I wouldn't say that with the team down 5-1, but seeing how as they're counting 3 and they have a guard and everything else, you better do something with it. And the guards, the 2 in the house are staggered, so you can't even get to the 1 in the house. It's going to take at least 2 shots to get there, and you only have about 4 left. So you better do something now. That's a good call right there. Just hit it on the 3/4 on the left-hand side, or, well, whatever, right, what side now? Right-hand side, I guess, from here. That shot doesn't work so good. That's going to be, might score with this shot. Just don't know how you're going to score very many. One thing about it, though, if you do make it, because of those same guards we just talked about, are not guards, the rock's actually in the 12-foot. Impossible for New Brunswick to get it out either, so who knows? This might be a good thing. Watched the game earlier, though. This rock didn't curl at all. Now, it might be that it's all late curl, so let's see what happens. Coming pretty good now. Got to go real hard now. If they get this by the top one, by the blue one, rather, this could be a great shot. Holy cow. That's a spectacular shot. Stops. It is a stop. No, that's bad luck. That was unruly. That was a heck of a curling shot. Went about 6 inches too far. But it certainly let Rod know that better guard the side up. You know, a little interesting now, though, because he's going to throw the guard over here to stop that draw. If the Territories do go back and play that same shot that we talked about a minute ago, all of a sudden they might sit, you know, number 2, number 3, or not number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, something like that. Anyway, whatever it is, and be 1 double away from a big end. See Rod there. If anybody's wondering why he's not playing the other turns, because he's not really allowed to stand on the other sheet for the ice. And it's the only way you'd be able to get it over there, because it's going to curl way too hard. I think this one curls too far. The Territories may play that same shot again, but this looks pretty darn good. Yeah, it's a good shot. Doesn't really take that draw away. But again, the problem with this draw is that I really think you're playing for 1. So if you want 1, you might be able to get it. If you want more than 1, it's not going to happen with this shot. Just no matter how good you do it. It was fun to watch the last time, so let's watch it again. He made a nice effort. It was literally like 6 inches heavy. This one's just a little bit heavier, but if it catches the curl, he can come to his own now and be shot rock. It's coming in pretty good. Wow. Tell you what, Jack MacKinnon came to play this end. That's just perfect. 2 impressive shots, and bad luck on the first one, but great shot on the second one. Well done, Jack MacKinnon. 3rd for Paul Delorey's Northwest Territories squad. But herein lies the problem with that shot, unless Rod throws this way too hard. I don't know what you do now. You're kind of like stuck with that one. But he might be happy with that. He's had a little trouble getting on track the last couple ends, and maybe he feels like, well, let's make sure we score 1, and we'll try to steal a couple and steal 1 in the last end to maybe be able to tie this thing up. Just looking around a little bit, we see that the host Nova Scotia team, Alan Marshall's team, still leads 6-2, playing 6 with the hammer. And Northern Ontario stole another one in the 5th end against Yukon, leads 5-3, playing the 6th end Yukon with the hammer. We mentioned last draw for these guys in the seeding pool. Everybody wants to finish with a win. Always feels better. Guy's going really hard on this. I don't think he's going by. Maybe he wasn't really too worried about going by. That's it. You know, we talk often about the right way to miss a shot, and that was certainly the right way for Rod to miss a shot. I have a hard time even calling that a miss, because that was going to be really tough to get shot rock. And he's taken the draw away from the territories, and that was, I think that was paramount. I don't know why the guys are avoiding, territories are avoiding this red takeout here. I really don't. It's if you play it and roll on the circles, yeah, you open it up for maybe they might be able to do something to the team from New Brunswick, but you have the opportunity here to maybe have 4 of your rocks in the house with a definite possibility of a double on your last shot to score multiple points. You need a miss, but no matter what you do here, Rod does miss, you're probably only getting one or none. So they're having another look. What they're doing now it's a bit confusing, because now they figure, like, well, we have the 2 blues. If we can remove the red one, just get to the red one in the top of the 4-foot, we can at least score 2, and that's good. But it might take a magic trick to make that happen. So I think you have to hit this and hope, really, is what you have to do. It's you're at that stage in the game where one doesn't do a whole lot of good, and you have a lot of rocks around, and hit this one and see what happens. So, after a little bit of discussion, Paul Delorey just decided to play this. Made me happy. I just really like to see what happens if he makes this well. If he does a good job on this and puts it in a good spot. Even if he hits a little high side, he'll open up the red, and his shooter will be out of the way. The red one at the top of the 12 will be out of the way, and the possibility of 3 certainly comes into play. As I say, they won't need a miss from New Brunswick. If New Brunswick makes their final shot, it's going to be pretty tough to do anything but score 1. Guys are still talking about using up a lot of time here. Timekeeper sitting beside him, getting nervous. Timekeepers get a little nervous when the teams use too much time. I think he's going to be okay, though. He's got seven or so minutes left. Might have 4 by the time he throws this, but so far he's okay. So here it comes, Paul Delorey. Chance really to make something happen in this end. Has to make some good shots, but that shot took a long time to call. But they do have a couple timeouts left. He's a little tight on this. Unfortunately, after all that, they might just stop sweeping it here and see if they can get something bouncing around and a bingo, bango, and bongo, and not going to happen. So too bad, actually. After all that time, Paul ended up throwing it a little bit tight. Guys couldn't get it by the guard, and now I don't know. Still has a chance to score 2 because he can drive the red on the red on the red and still score 2 that way, as Mr. Brannen points out here. So thinking, well, do we guard that? That's probably the best shot. The only way in, really, I think, other than you might be able to go out there and throw an out-turn draw around those 2 blue ones and hope somehow it finds a hill that nobody else knows exists and it warps into the 4-foot, maybe. Whereas they're looking at maybe trying to find a way to take a couple of shots away. Or actually might be looking to play in the bump himself and scoring 1. Maybe finishing this game right now. That's probably not bad either, as long as you don't throw it too hard. Not really going to hurt a whole lot. It won't really open much up as long as you, like I say, as long as you're not too heavy. Throw T-line or back 4-foot and you're probably pretty good. force the Territories squad to make a triple or something. It's not a lot of ice, though. It would make me think he's going to throw a little bit harder than I think he'd throw. But we'll see. It's well on its way. He's got a chance. Might over curl. Not quite enough weight for that. I thought he threw it harder than that. So, didn't change too much for New Brunswick, although it might have actually made it even harder, if you can believe it, to get that rock out. A lot of rocks in play here. 6 red ones within about a 5-foot circle. The other 2 reds up front. I heard a little bit earlier that there was a 7-ender scored in Kentville in one of the ladies' games in the first end. Imagine that. 7 in the first, 3 in the second. 10-0 after 2 ends. That's a pretty tough one to come back from, but I'm sure the ladies kept plugging and tried to make a game of it. I don't even know who all was playing in that game. I just know that's what happened. So I mentioned this out-turn draw for Paul Delorey, and it's, you know, I honestly don't know if it'll curl enough, but you don't really have anything else. You kind of have to play it, so hopefully you'll find some curl. We know it finishes pretty well at the end everywhere, and he only has to get about half the 4-foot with this. It's not like he has to get to the button or he has to even get full 4-foot. If he could manage to find half the 4-foot on this, he'd probably score his 2. This looks pretty nice, actually. Got to go now. Got to get by. No, they lost it. That was pretty tough. That was going to be a hard shot anyways. So it looks like the Territories will pick up 1. And now trail 5-2 after 6 ends. I think, anyways, it looks like 1. I'm pretty sure it's 1 blue. It has to be 1 blue. So that was an exciting end. Lots of rocks in the 4-foot area. And you know what? At 5-2, you never know if you can. Well, they might not be going to keep playing. So I guess I had enough. A little bit of a surprise for me here, but it's like I say, it's late. It's been a long week for these guys, so we will not give them too much grief for deciding to shake hands after 6 ends of play. So Team New Brunswick knocks off the Territories by a score of 5-2 in the final round of the seeding pool here at the 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters. I'm Jim Nix, and I will see you again tonight at 7:30 as we cover Team Nova Scotia, Team New Brunswick in the Women's Championship round. Bye for now.